class. Today we're on a field trip to the horticulture garden at Purdue University. There are many plants growing around, as you can see, but they all began from a tiny little seed. To learn more about that, let's watch this quick video.
Seeds come in lots of different shapes and sizes, but they're all made of 3 parts. An outer shell called the seed coat, a tiny baby plant that's inside the seed called the embryo, and some plant food for the embryo called endosperm. The seed coat has an important job. It covers the entire seed, protecting the little baby plant inside and keeping it from drying out. The seed coat also has super sensing powers. It has special chemicals in it that can tell when the seed is in the right place to start growing. For example, the sunflower seeds and the pumpkin seeds in your trail mix sense that it's not safe to grow. After all, seeds can't grow when they're surrounded by raisins and chocolate chips. So while the seeds are in a bag or in your hands, it's like they're asleep. The seeds are still alive, but they're dormant or inactive. Some seeds can stay like this for hundreds or even thousands of years. Great question, Squeaks. To get started, every seed needs water, the right temperature, and the right amount of light. Once the seed has these 3 things, like when it's planted in some nice wet soil, the embryo, or baby plant, gets the signal to start growing. For plants, this growing process is called germination. First, the seed coat lets some water through to the embryo, but the embryo needs more than just water if it's going to grow. Good thing there's a whole bunch of plant food right there inside the seed. Until the plant can make its own food from sunlight, which it will need leaves to do, it relies on the endosperm for energy. It's like the little baby plant has its own backpack of snacks. So the embryo keeps growing and taking in more water until the seed coat cracks open and the embryo kicks out a kind of a foot. But not at all like my foot. The first part of the plant to come out of the seed is the root. The root always grows downward, no matter what way the seed is planted. A seed can actually tell which way is up and which way is down. So the root pushes down deeper and deeper into the soil, looking for more water and minerals to feed the baby plant. Once the plant is all grown up, those deep roots will have another job. They'll help keep the plant from falling over or blowing away in the wind. But soon after the first baby root finds its way into the dirt, another part of the seed pops out, this time in the opposite direction. A shoot, which has the stem of the plant and a few leaves, pushes its way up towards the sunlight. Once the shoot breaks through the soil to the open air above, we say that it's sprouted. Now the plant doesn't need the endosperm anymore because it can make its own food from sunlight. With enough water and sunlight and the right temperature, the young plant will continue to grow, getting bigger and growing more leaves until it's an adult plant and it can produce seeds of its own.
In this diagram, you can see the basic components that each plant has. So basically, the main parts of each plant are the leaf, the shoot system, and the root system. These 3 systems each have different roles, but play an integral part in the functioning of the plant. The leaves are the broad surface on which sunlight hits, and they are supported by the shoot system, which is made up of the stem and really all of the above ground components of the plant. We also have the root system, which plays a pivotal role in the absorption of nutrients from the soil, along with anchoring the plant into the ground. Next, you can see on this slide the basic steps that a seed must go through to be able to emerge and become a full plant. So we first start with the seed, and eventually the radicle comes downward to form the first roots, and then the cotyledons begin to emerge from the plant seed. It is at that point then that some leaves begin to expand, and then once they are fully expanded, the plant begins its growth above the ground, along with all the time in the meantime creating this root system below ground, adding more fibers and anchoring itself even more to provide for the needs of the plant.
Welcome back. As you may have learned, some of the basic elements that plants need are sunlight, the correct temperature as it's warm today, and water and nutrients. So, as you may have also learned, plants have 3 basic parts: the leaves, the shoots, and the root system. So, we have the leaves here on this plant, and then we have the stem and shoot portion. The below the ground, we have the root system, which we cannot see, as it helps anchor the plant into the ground. We also have on this plant flowers, and as you may remember, last week we learned about the different parts that make up a flower. So, we can do a quick dissection of a flower here, so you can learn the different parts in a more hands-on way. So, as you may remember, one of the exterior portions is the pedicel. This helps hold the plant and all of its parts upright. We also have the receptacle, which is the point in which all the parts join together. Here you can also see the sepals, which are the modified leaves that protect the bud. We also have the colorful portion, which is made up of the petals. Now, here's the fun part. We're able to tear apart the petals, and inside you can see different parts of the plant. Some of these exterior ones are the stamens, which are made up of both the anther and the filament. There are multiple of those, but one pistil, which is the female portion of the plant. This is in the center, and it is made up of the stigma, which is sticky on the top, the style, which connects the stigma to the ovary, and inside the plant you can see the ovary. Inside the ovary contains the ovules. That's all for today, and we hope that you have enjoyed this field trip to the Hort Garden, and maybe one day you may be a Boilermaker here.